He's going to revoke your citizenship, I read the other day.
That's what he said, but that's against the Constitution as of now. But as we know, he has pawns in the Supreme Court, and you never know what he'd be able to do.
Let's say that Trump announces tomorrow, he signs an executive order or whatever else, that he is going to start taking citizenship away from a set of Americans, Rosie O'Donnell included, who just disagree with him publicly.
It's work standing for your democracy against dictatorship. And sometimes you have to do things that you never wanted to do. If you never cared less about celebrity news, there's a story that you need to be paying attention to because it's more than just celebrity news. This one is about Donald Trump and Rosie O'Donnell. It dates back decades. She hosted The View. He hosted The Apprentice, something about ratings. He would comment on her weight. She didn't like the way that he talked about women.
You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account.
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
That was then and this is now. And the difference between a couple decades ago and now is back then they were celebrities. Today, one person is president of the United States. And earlier this year in March, Rosie O'Donnell moved to Ireland with her family.
You know, I'm happy. Clay's happy. I miss my other kids. I miss my friends. I miss many things about life there at home. And I'm trying to find a home here in this beautiful country. And when, you know, it is safe for all citizens to have equal rights there in America, that's when we will consider coming back. It's been heartbreaking to see what's happening politically and hard for me personally as well.
Now, for the second time in 2 months, the president has posted on his platform about revoking Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship. This is him back in July. Because of the fact that Rosie O'Donnell is not in the best interest of our great country, I'm giving serious consideration to taking away her citizenship, capitalized. She is a threat to humanity and should remain in the wonderful country of Ireland if they want her. God bless America. Just a couple days ago, he wrote again, as previously mentioned, we are giving serious thought to taking away Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship. She is not a great American and is, in my opinion, incapable of being so, along with the flattering picture. Here's what Rosie said in response to Trump's latest threat. He can't do that because it's against the Constitution, and even the Supreme Court has not given him the right to do that. He's not allowed to do that. The only way you're allowed to take away someone's citizenship is if they renounce it themselves, and I will never renounce my American citizenship. I'm a very proud citizen of the United States. Rosie also noted the strange timing of Trump's attack on her, which she thinks is in order to distract from Jeffrey Epstein victims and the big press conference that they had this week threatening to release their own list of people who were in that world.
Trump's going after you, and I'm thinking, what the hell is going on? I mean, I wake up and there are these tweets and stuff.
I know. I was woken up too by a friend of mine in LA who follows it closely, and he's like, he did it again. I'm like, wait a minute, it's the middle of the night. What's happening? You know. But,
what's wrong with this guy?
I gotta say, you know, it's the Epstein files. It's the testifying of the survivors that he tried to cover up with the planes, with a flyover. Like, you know, it's unbelievable how obvious he is about everything that he does. And could you say I'm guilty without saying I'm guilty more than having a flyover during their press conference, as if he's going to like hold the tide?
And the threat was reinforced from the White House. Deputy Press Secretary Anna Kelly told Fox News Digital, as President Trump said, the administration is seriously considering revoking Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship. So first, the facts. Rosie is right. The U.S. president has absolutely no authority to revoke someone's citizenship, but let's confirm. Can a U.S. president revoke a person's citizenship? No, a U.S. president, I can't believe we're talking about this. A U.S. president cannot revoke a person's citizenship. Here's why. 1, citizenship is protected by the Constitution. 14th Amendment, anyone born or naturalized in the U.S. is a citizen, cannot be deprived of that citizenship without due process of law. The Supreme Court has affirmed this as a constitutional right. Number 2, only specific legal processes can result in loss of citizenship. So this is important. We're going to come back to this. Formal legal proceedings such as denaturalization or voluntary renunciation. So as Rosie said, a person can choose to give up their citizenship, but they would have to do that on their own. Number 3, presidential powers don't include this. The president does not have unilateral authority to strip someone of their citizenship. All right. This is the scary place that this could go. Check out this clip from the Pod Save America guys.
And this is the thing that like sort of haunts me all the time. So imagine, let's say that Trump announces tomorrow, he signs an executive order or whatever else, that he is going to start taking citizenship away from a set of Americans, Rosie O'Donnell included, who disagree with him publicly, how many people in the Republican Party would stand up and say that's too far? How many major CEOs or business figures in this country would stand up and say that's too far? How many people who run media companies would stand up and say that's a bridge too far? How many media organizations would just cover it as politics as usual? What's the line? I can't think of what the line is that Trump would do that this group of elites who've gone along with this so far will stop and say that's too far.
The Rosie O'Donnell thing surprised me because it's like she's like, denaturalization is a project that Stephen Miller is quite excited about. And denaturalization is basically stripping citizenship from someone who became a U.S. citizen at some point, right? So they were not born here, or maybe they weren't a citizen from birth, but they went through a naturalization ceremony. They're a U.S. citizen. That's it. And it is very rare. And in history, it has been rarely invoked. And it's an arduous process, and you have to either prove that the person is, a threat to the country, or they lied on their citizenship forms.
Ding, ding, ding.
Right.
Threat to the country.
Threat to the country. Right. Exactly. What was used during the McCarthy era a couple times for people who were, accused of being communists. Right. So they have, which if you've listened, right, it used to be radical Marxists, used to be leftists. There's using communists a lot. He's using communists a lot. And this is where I think it actually could happen. Using communists a lot when they talk about Zoran Mamdani, right, who was not born in this country, who is a U.S. citizen, but was not born in this country, who got citizenship in this country when I think he was like 7 years old. And Zoran Mamdani wins and becomes mayor of New York. And Donald Trump's upset about it. Like the idea that they could start a denaturalization process, which Stephen Miller has said, it was too small in the first term. We got to ramp up the denaturalization. And he's on record saying it. This is not just like, sky is falling. Everyone go fucking look it up. Stephen Miller's out there saying he wants to ramp up denaturalizations. So how many foreign-born people are there in this country who are U.S. citizens? And now all of those people are potentially at risk. And what are you going to say? It's a long process. Yeah, it's a long process. Sure. In normal times, it's a long process. With this government, what's it going to go through the court system? Or do we think it's going to go through some fucking administrative judge here and there, and they yank someone's citizenship, and then someone sues, and then it goes to court? And can you get a nationwide injunction? No, you can't for everyone else who's being denaturalized, because the Supreme Court said no nationwide injunctions anymore. So now we're just denaturalizing people. And now we're going to start shipping them out of the country. And by the time the Supreme Court says, no, that's fucking unconstitutional, what are you doing? They're already in South Sudan.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I don't know. Any Democrat going to go out there and be like, what the fuck is happening?
Are you scared yet? Are you scared for our democracy? This is why we have to read something like a stupid piece of celebrity news as something that could impact the lives of everyone in the United States. One of the first executive orders signed in January seeks to end birthright citizenship in the U.S. Listen to Adav Noti, one of the smartest legal minds in this country. He leads the Campaign Legal Center, talking about what this threat to birthright citizenship means for American citizens and democracy as a whole.
If the president has the right to decide who is and who is not a citizen, then the president can decide who can and can't vote. The order that the president purported to issue about citizenship is, to my mind, one of the most troubling actions that the administration has taken in its first 100 days. This order said that people who are born in the United States under certain circumstances are not entitled to American citizenship. Citizenship is the core of democracy. It's the determining factor in a whole range of abilities to participate in and interact with our government and our democratic process. And it is very clearly laid out in the Constitution to avoid exactly this sort of question, that if you're born in the United States, you are a U.S. citizen.
When it comes to democracy dying in America, I'm not silent. And when it comes to the president right now and what his actions are and who he is innately, I am not quiet.
For Rosie, the current state of division in the USA is of deep concern. But no matter where she is in the world, she says she'll always be grateful America enabled a poor kid with a tough upbringing to live a dream. You still love your country.
If I didn't love my country, I wouldn't speak out to try to protect it.
Do you feel in a way that he's winning by you leaving the country?
Well, I know that my personal mental health comes first. And when he was in the last time, I was not doing well. And I have a child that is special needs and that needs me to be fully cognizant, happy, not depressed and not overwhelmed. So I didn't have a choice. I was not one of those celebrities who said, if he gets in, I'm leaving, and then didn't leave. I never said I was going to leave because I never imagined having to. I knew I could not take being in America, watching him ruin everything that we had worked so hard for as a nation to get freedom for everyone, and to get something close to equality, although we never really made it there, for women, for minorities, for Black and brown people. We haven't done it. And the promise of America is great, and I live the American dream, and I believe in my country, and I want the best for it. And what's happening now is terrifying as democracy dies, and we all watch.
He's going to revoke your citizenship, I read the other day.
That's what he said, but that's against the Constitution as of now. But as we know, he has pawns in the Supreme Court, and you never know what he'd be able to do.
We're at a point in this dark, sad chapter in this nation's history where we, American citizens, actually have to think about the fact that there is someone at the very top levels of government power who wants to take away citizenship for some of us. It's not a great place to be. And for the next 3.5 or however many years of this, I get it. For our sanity, we need to sometimes just tune out the 24/7 news cycle and the constant stream of bad news and the administration's strategy of flooding the zone. And I probably won't be subscribing to Us Weekly anytime soon, but this is one of those occasional celebrity news stories that's about a lot more. It's about all of us. We need to speak up against what's happening, and we need to continue to follow this story.
I encourage everyone to stand up, to use their voice, to protest, to demand that we follow the Constitution in our country. And not a king, not a man. And we don't have cruelty as part of our governing style.